Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Calgary Barbell. Hope everybody's training is going really well and nobody's getting hurt and everybody's putting up PRs out there. Just want to talk a little bit today about the deadlift and some grip things. Anybody who's been following the channel for any period of time kind of knows that deadlifting has been my lift. It's kind of my thing. I set an open world record a while ago, and then shortly after that, I actually started having some really bad hip pain every time I pulled conventional. So what would happen is, as I locked out, I got this really bad stabbing pain in and around my glute, which sucked. And that actually over time got worse and worse and forced me to switch to pulling sumo. Now, sumo was a pretty easy transition for me actually, and I got really strong really fast. But I quickly approached the 800 mark and I found that those very, very top sets, the biggest thing holding me back was a bit of a grip issue, and it seemed like it was just right at lockout. So I would get up to the top, and the issue was that with a mixed grip, my underhand would push the bar forward on my right side because of the fact that my grip was right over my quads, would push the bar forward on my right side and it would push the bar closer to me on my left side. So as I locked out, the last inch or so would actually open my hand up on my thigh, preventing me from being able to successfully lock out, especially at the very top end weights, like 99, 100% kind of thing. So if you look back at, there's a lot of training footage where that happened in my suit especially. It happened at Power Surge, I opened my hand up and dropped the bar. It happened at Nationals, I opened my hand up and, or rather got stuck and knew that I couldn't go any further, or it was going to open my hand up and I didn't get the lift, obviously because it wasn't locked out. So the way that I fix this, or am fixing this currently, is by switching to hook grip. So for a few reasons, I've switched to hook grip, and a few different reasons that I find hook grip valuable is A, because it allows me to fix that grip issue of, you know, getting that sort of windmilling into my thigh and allowing me to pull all the way through lockout. Another thing is that, you know, it potentially puts my bicep in a little bit of a less stressed position. And the last thing is that I can get a lot more symmetrical lat function and lat firing. So for me, it's easier to keep a good back angle, and it also trims the range of motion a little bit. So I find it really similar to pulling with straps because the bar hangs a little bit further down in my hand. So there are a ton of videos on hook grip out there. I know JP Couchy did some. There's a really good one from the RTS guys. So I'm not gonna cover, you know, the basics of how to hook grip because I think there's plenty of resources out there. What I'm gonna try to do is give you guys a little bit of insight into a couple of the very small things that I've found useful with transitioning to hook grip, some of the nuance of using hook grip, and how to program for hook grip, or how to, you know, sort of acclimate to it over time. So to start with, one of the biggest things that I learned about doing hook grip is not to try and lay your thumb across. So not necessarily to wrap your thumb around the bar, but to lay your thumb more across the bar. So that was a bit of a game changer for me, and I've used that with some of my lifters too, who were just trying to like grab onto their thumb like this to get them to lay it a little bit more across and grab around the thumb. Seems to help people and makes a bit of a difference. Another thing is setting your hook grip before you pull. That's something else that I find a lot of people don't do, and I think the reason a lot of people like to use tape on the hook grip is because they set the bar really, really tight into their hand and they expect to keep a nice closed fist as they go through the deadlift. But what happens is it actually opens up and kind of pulls to where everything is under enough pressure to stop it from rolling. So if you don't set your grip and then pull the slack out of your grip the same way you would pull the slack out of the bar, you're gonna get that rolling, and that's what's gonna give you that tearing and that need for tape in here. I don't use tape because I find that the biggest pain from hook grip for me is pressure. And if you wrap the tape around there and there's any tightness to it, it's just gonna increase that pressure sensation by sort of restricting blood flow a little bit. So I've found, again, laying sideways and setting the grip. So pulling till it's hanging almost in the bottom of the hook grip, that's gonna help you trim that range of motion down a little bit. And it's also gonna ensure that the bar is set where it's gonna be. It's not gonna roll through your hand. Also, I think that rolling increases the potential for dropping. So if you can set it further down, it's gonna stay where you set it, and that's a big thing. So to talk briefly about how I've used programming in my transition to hook grip is each week I do a competition deadlift single at an 8 RPE and a 2-count pause deadlift single at an 8 RPE. Now for both of those, I've been using hook grip exclusively, trying to do, a couple second hold at the top, at least what would be sufficient for a competition lockout. And all of my volume, all of my drop sets, all of everything else I use straps for. I think the most important thing to be able to do with hook grip, as with any grip, is to be able to hold on to maximal weights for a single rep. That's very specific training for it, and I think that a lot of people make the mistake of jumping in and trying to do a bunch of volume with it and a bunch of really long holds with light weight, and I think that just causes them undue strain and a lot of almost unnecessary pain. Focus on those top singles, because that's all you're gonna need for competition is 3 sets of 1 at heavy weights. If you can focus on that, I think you're gonna acclimate to it a little bit easier. It doesn't suck as much to just do 1 rep. For those of you who maybe don't do singles in your training, do the first rep of your heaviest set each time you deadlift. So let's say you're doing a set of 4, you would pull your first rep hook grip with straps on, not straps around the bar, but the straps would be on your wrist so that you could then set the bar down, set your straps, and pull the last remaining 3 with straps. That's something I have a number of my lifters doing right now who are making the transition. It seems to be pretty successful. I think that about sums it up for hook grip. Like I said, there's a ton of really good resources out there. Clint Darden is somebody else that I forgot to mention. I got a lot out of his video. So yeah, we'll put some links to some of those videos in the description box below. Go check them out, because there's a ton of resources out there for hook grip. These are just some of the things that I've noticed in my transition, and I didn't think that it would be pertinent to waste anybody's time on, what is hook grip? How do you hook grip? Because that stuff's all out there. But hopefully some of this information helps you guys. And if you're thinking about making the switch to hook grip, try it out. It can be a good skill to have in your repertoire anyways. So even if you're not looking at switching full time, it might be good to try out and kind of have in your back pocket in case something happens. That's it for this video, guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions about hook grip or anything that you feel like I didn't go over that is missing from these other videos, please let me know and we'll respond to that and try to fulfill your requests as much as possible. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.